All right, team. Time for another chapter. Super excited, and especially on this incredible day. I thought I'd sit outside, even in bare arms. It's a very exciting day. For now, we're going to start with chapter 42. Operation Mr. Harold's Ranch, Part 2. And he really thinks it's monkey hair? Eliza Rose says as we trudge through the tall grasses and push past long pine arms. Half primate and half human, I say. That's crazy. She wipes sweat off her forehead. Oh, and what's scat anyway? You don't want to know, I say, stepping over a large boulder. Sure I do. I turn back to face her. It's poo. She stops. Okay, I didn't want to know that. I told you so, I laugh, sitting down on top of the rock. I sneeze and wipe my nose with my forearm. We should have brought a canteen of water, Eliza Rose says, leaning up against the trunk of a tall oak. You think Mr. Harold would let us have one of his bottles of cola to share? Maybe, I say. How much longer are we going to do this? She yawns. It's so hot, and Scooby-Doo starts at 3 o'clock. It's the one where Scooby and Shaggy get locked in the basement on an old abandoned farm. I read it in the TV guide. We'll stay until we find some evidence. Plus, I saw that one already. It's a rerun. I know, but it's funny, she says, fanning herself. And do you think Fred is cute? He's a cartoon? Still, she says. When I get married, I want my husband to look just like him. Let's keep going, I say. We have to find something or... Eliza Rose gasps. What was that? She whispers. I don't know, I whisper back. I crouch low behind a thick bush and scan the forest through the Polaroid's viewfinder. My finger on the red button, ready to click. Eliza Rose scrambles over near me, linking her arm with mine. Was it a branch cracking? I ask her. Sounded more like someone cracking a stick against a tree, she says. I scan the forest again, but all I see through the lens is green. Oh no, she whispers. What? Now I can't remember what we decided this call is supposed to be. Was it an owl or a whistle? And what if it's hungry? I think Eliza Rose is like, everything's very new, and maybe being a little, maybe her nerves are getting to her. It's okay, I say. They eat mostly vegetarian anyways. That's not really a lie. What does mostly mean? The call is the whoop, remember? Oh, yeah, that's right. The whoop, she says. Should I do it now? Should I whoop now? Wait, I say, squinting through the viewfinder. Still just leaves. Just green. Just moss. Just bushes. Now? She says again. Not yet, I whisper. We crouch in silence, listening to the sounds of the woods. The wind blowing through the tops of the trees make a shh sound. The birds up above us call back and forth, and far out in the pasture we hear the low moan of steers complaining about the sun. I don't hear anything now, do you? I whisper. No. Whoop, whoop. We turn to each other with our mouths open and our eyes wide. Was that? Yeah, I say, come on. We jump up and dart in the direction where we last saw the boys. After 4 rounds of whoops, we spot the 3 of them huddled under a big bottom bough of a pine tree that has a trunk thicker than the 3 of them standing side by side. What are you doing under there? I call out. Shh, Tobin hisses, motioning for us to hurry. Eliza Rose and I scramble over rocks and old fallen needles and branches to reach them. When we do, we huddle under the pine branches too. It smells like Christmas time under there. Pine needles and bark and sap. Something is following us, Tobin mouths to us, peering over his wire rims and pointing to the left. You're lying, Eliza Rose says, frantically, scanning the woods. Something really is following us, Joe Kelly whispers. Something big, too. That's when Eliza Rose starts bawling. Oh, she whines. I don't want to be eaten by a Bigfoot. I told you they're mostly vegetarian, didn't I? I say. is mostly the same as all, she asks. No. Then I want out of here right this second, she says. For crimini's sake, Tobin says, you're gonna scare whatever it is off. Good, Eliza Rose sniffs. Lemonade, let's go. I don't want to do this anymore. I'll take her back, I tell them. I'll go with her, Bo says, stuffing his hands in his pockets and flipping his bangs. Yeah, me too, Joe Kelly says. You know, it's just so hot and everything. Maybe we could do it again when it cools down a little. Like, October. October sounds good. Everyone good for October? I look at Tobin and he looks at me. Then he rolls his eyes so hard, I think they're going to fall right out of his head. I don't know if Eliza and Joe and Bo are having the best time of their life. Maybe a little scared. A little out of their element, you know, which is totally fine. Just, you know, maybe they're not quite as conditioned as Lem and Tobin are about this, eh? I look at Tobin and he looks at me. Then he rolls his eyes so hard, I think they're going to fall right out of his head. Hey, you there, stop. A loud gunshot blast fires, making my ears ring. Move, 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 Tobin yells. He pushes everyone out of his way and darts out from under the pine and through the forest like a rocket. The rest of us scramble to keep up with him. When we make it to the wooden fence, I climb on top of it and shield my eyes from the sun with my hand. Mr. Harold is on Chimerin, out in the west field at the edge of the fence. He has his rifle in his hand pointed straight upwards. Mr. Harold, Tobin hollers, waving his arms. What are you doing? Mr. Harold flips the reins and kicks the sides of Chimerin's fat brown belly. Yeah, he says, and the horse begins to gallop in our direction. When they reach us, Mr. Harold jumps off. Was it a Bigfoot? I ask. Why do you have a rifle, Mr. Harold? They won't hurt you, Tobin says. I think someone or something ran off with one of my chickens. One was missing yesterday, too. And I thought it just wandered off or a dog got to it. Mr. Harold keeps scanning the woods. But just now, I saw something running through the forest with another one of my chickens under its arm. What do you think it was? Joe Kelly asks. Was it biped, Mr. Harold? Tobin asks. Mr. Harold turns his head to face Tobin and then forces a smile. You know what? It was probably just someone down on their luck, looking for a meal. I don't know who it was. And he's gone now, so let's get your Bigfoot hunters an ice-cold cola. You could probably use it. That's the end of the chapter. I wonder if Mr. Harold is, like, kind of just trying to make a good assumption about if someone's just down on their luck and they're looking for the chicken just to eat, or maybe if it's something that he's not telling them. I don't know. The next chapter is really short. I think maybe we should just read it. All right, it's called Chapter 43, The Mystery of the Giant Pumpkin. And then they all wanted to go home, Tobin tells Mrs. Dickerson, biting into a buttery ear of corn, right in the middle of the doggone expedition. Miss Dickerson sips her tea. Is that so? It is so, and that's the very reason why I don't have anyone else in my ink. Tobin wipes butter off his lips with his arm and takes another juicy bite. Well, I guess that's why we sent you, Lemonade. Or that's why somebody sent you, Lemonade. Miss Dickerson winks at me. I guess, Tobin agrees. I mean, she's got the sneezing and has dumb questions sometimes. And there's all those Twinkie breaks. But at least she's no chicken. Who's he referring to? And he's like, she's not a chicken. I'm kind of reading between the lines there and thinking that maybe he's calling Bo and Joe and Eliza like a chicken because they were not super comfortable going out into the woods that first time. Which maybe isn't such a fair thing to call them. But anyway. I laugh, which makes me snort, which makes the milk I'm drinking spray out of my nose. I'm so glad there is some sort of friendship growing with the others, Miss Dickerson says, handing me another napkin. My guess is Lemonade has something to do with that, too. Yeah, she schooled me, Tobin says, taking another bite. Pardon me? It means Lemonade is good at making friends and also at comebacks. She says she's going to make me into the comeback king. He looks at me and we both laugh. Let's not get crazy, I tell him. The comeback king? Miss Dickerson pronounces each word very carefully, like she's speaking Swahili for the first time, which makes Tobin and me laugh even harder. It doesn't matter, I tell her. Tobin said you think you found a nest out back. Oh my, yes. Miss Dickerson takes the cloth napkin that she keeps tucked in her lap and dabs the corner of the bright pink lipstick that never seems to want to stay where it's supposed to. Then she leans forward on her elbows. I'm sure it's a Bigfoot nest. Sure as I'm sitting here, that's what it is. Roofed, right? Tobin blurts out, spitting corn kernels on the yellow tablecloth. Yes, definitely roofed. And inside it, she leans even farther down and raises her eyebrows. A soft pile of leaves on top of pine needles and branches. You mean like a bed? I ask. That's exactly what I mean, Miss Dickerson says. Not only that, but in the corner there are piles of vegetables straight from my garden. Mind you, I only saw it from a distance. So how can you tell that they're yours? I ask her. Miss Dickerson looks me straight in the eye. A gardener knows, dear. Oh, I say. I've been missing vegetables for some time now. But of course, I just figured it was the rabbits, you know. From time to time, I'm chasing those pesky little guys away with my cane. But today, she points her finger in the air, was different. Why? Tobin asks. Because today I found an entire pumpkin gone. An entire pumpkin, I repeat. That's right, and not just any pumpkin. One that was at least 15 pounds, much too big for a rabbit, or any other critter that's out in the forest for that matter. I was waiting to see just how big it would grow before Halloween rolled around. I thought I could carve a nice jack-o'-lantern out of it, you know, to put on the front porch when trick-or-treaters come. How big was it? Tobin asks. Well, I suppose enough to freeze a couple of pies for Thanksgiving, and a few pans of roasted seeds for snacking. No, Miss Dickerson, Tobin says. The nest, how big is the nest? Oh, yes, well, it's big enough. Big enough for what, I ask. Big enough for more than one of them, she says. Well, I can see why the Bigfoot is stealing your vegetables, Mrs. Dickerson, I tell her, looking down at the gnawed corn cob on my plate. Oh, my Lemonade, aren't you a sweet girl, she exclaims, putting her hands on her cheeks. The spitting image of your mother, I'm telling you, just the spitting image. Elizabeth Lily Witt. Except this time when I hear about Mama and say her name inside my head, there's no lump to swallow down. I smile instead. No volcano bubbling up, no quicksand sucking me in. Not that I don't still wish that Mama was here having dinner at Miss Dickerson's with us right this minute, or that I could tell her all the things I've been doing in Willow Creek, or that I could see her and Charlie make things right between them, or even that I could smell her strawberry suave. But for the first time since she's been gone, I don't feel like I'm drowning or bubbling lava, or holding on to something way too heavy for me to carry. Here in Willow Creek, I feel found by a new kind of family. And I know it's Mama who got me here. Oh, that's so nice. Wow. Two things. Very happy that Lemonade's, feeling very settled and like a part of, a new community, a new family now. That's such a nice thing. Also, what's with the veggies? What's with the pumpkin? This roofed home that they found out back. Oh man, I'm so curious to see. There's only a couple chapters left. I'm so curious to see how this book ends. So for now, we're gonna close up and I'll see you back here soon for another chapter.